Hello and welcome to Rockies Recap, a part of the Rockies Now podcast network. My name is Steven. Right there is the co-host Tom. Tom, how is your weekend going?
My week has been pretty good. The weekend starts tomorrow officially. Hopefully, it's a good one. It's probably going to be hot here in Chicago, but hey, it's still July. It's been that summer for you, especially with the rain we've been having down here lately. So it's going to be a
Mhm.
little bit of humidity.
Yeah, we got a busy week here at Rockies Now. We posted all over our social media that it's going to be crazy because we have, of course, tonight's series recap. Then on Saturday, we're doing our podcast episode, which streams on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So go check out that if you haven't already. Go follow us over there. And then Sunday, we're going live. As you who listen and watch the Rockies recap shows have heard that we've been doing this, that we're going to do this on Sunday. Really pumped up for that. Originally, I thought it was earlier than what it actually is. It's actually going to start at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. It will be 6 o'clock Tom's time and Central Standard Time. So
Mhm.
get ready for that. I think we're going to go live around probably 4:40 Central, not 4:40 Mountain Time, 5:40 Central Time,
Mhm.
just to get ready. Just kind of have a pregame talk to get ready. Who we think who could get drafted by the Rockies, any possibilities, our thoughts on the draft as a whole, like especially the first 10 picks or so, because it's only going to be the first round on Sunday, and then the second round and so forth will continue throughout Sunday, and then going into I should say Monday and Tuesday because it's 3 days. And then we have the home run derby on Monday, so we're going to be coming out with a post on that. Tom and I, we got our picks coming in, so we'll have those out on Monday. And we're not going to spoil it, by the way. So you're going to have to check that out on our social medias when that comes out. And then Tuesday, we of course have the big day, the All Star festivities. That's going to be fun. Excited to see Rymac in Arlington. Can't wait to see if he wins All Star Game MVP like Elias did last year. Will we see a Rockies back to back MVP for the All Star Game? That would be just simply hilarious. It'd be awesome. And then after that, we have our Rockies and Mets series recap. That will be coming probably like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that before the Rockies start the second half at home against the Giants. So yeah, it's going to be a busy week over here at Rockies Now. So again, see our content. Make sure you head on over to Instagram, X, and Threads, and make sure you're staying active here on YouTube and all the good stuff to catch our content so you don't miss that. So tonight we're gonna kind of quickly talk about the Rockies and Reds series, and of course we're not going to talk too much tonight because we got a podcast on Saturday. We want to kind of talk about, wrap up the first half and kind of talk about everything. It's not gonna be a super long one. Just kind of quick review over the first half and talk about a little bit about the draft. But this series, it was just, you kind of knew that this series was going to be a tough one because the Rockies in recent years have really struggled to to play well in this ballpark at Great American Ballpark. I remember when the Rockies actually played well here. This was back when Tulo, Cargo, Helton were on the roster. The Rockies used to absolutely own the Reds in Great American Ballpark, but over the last several years, it's not been friendly to the Rockies. They've had their number in Cincinnati, and we saw in Game One, the Rockies' offense was just not clicking at all. Andrew Abbott was the pitcher. He's been really really solid for them, and this is a guy I remember pitched last year against the Rockies, and I'm like, who's that guy? Never heard of him. And of course, a lot of Reds fans kind of told me it's like, hey, watch out for Andrew Abbott, man. And Ellie De La Cruz, he kind of caught the Rockies sleeping there in that first game against Ryan Feltner. It was kind of ugly to watch, but overall, it wasn't a completely bad game. I mean, Feltner looked pretty good. I think he only gave up 2 runs in that start. But again, the offense, which has really struggled this year, just didn't click at all. Game two was a little bit better, but again, the pitching has especially the bullpen, man. Like we've talked about it, it's been bad. We saw it in game two, we saw it in game three yesterday, and we saw it today. The bullpen was bad, but again, Michael Toglia, got a home run. He's looking great since his last call up. But like we posted on our social media, it's Brenton Doyle, man. He's not human. He cannot be human. He won National League Player of the Week this past week, which was awesome to see. But the dude is just on fire. I mean, this is the hottest hitter, arguably in baseball, hottest center fielder. When I mean hottest, am I meaning him as a person? Yes, I am. And then I'm also talking about his bat because he's just been, like I said, unbelievable offensively, defensively this year, hitting right around 280. I think he's now actually tied with the team in home runs. Other than Ryan McMahon, this guy is probably all-star worthy, but it's just a little bit too late because if this would have happened maybe a few weeks ago, you're looking at Brenton Doyle probably being an all-star. But I think it was a 2-homer game for him in game 2. And then game 3, Sam Hilliard got a 2-homer game. That was his 3rd time in his career. Rockies won 6-5 there. Jalen Beeks, though, oh my gosh, that guy, I kind of feel bad for him because he looks really frustrated at the end of the game, but almost blew another game there. But thankfully, the Rockies got a win in game 3. And then today was just like, bleh. It was just one of those games you just want to forget. Gomber wasn't too bad, but the bullpen just kind of faltered there. Tyler Stevenson, though, I know he had as you can, look at the box score, for yourself, but dude had a really good series. And then that rookie for the Reds, Hines, my goodness, he is going to be good. So maybe, I don't know. A lot of people are comparing him to Aquino. For those who remember Aristides Aquino, is that his name? I think that was his name. I forget where he is now, but I think it's like Aristides Aquino. And I remember he had a really good start and then he kind of fell off. But really, the Rockies pitching in the series, it was bad. Offensively, the 2 games in the middle were fine. It was kind of coming to light, but it's really dictating the season for the Rockies that we've kind of been seeing. And it's disappointing, but at the same time, though, you're just really trying to play some of the younger players, see what they got, but also just just writing it out, really, writing this rebuild out and kind of preparing to have that break there at the as we get ready for the All-Star for our Star game this upcoming Tuesday. So Rockies, at least they got a win in Cincinnati, but not a great series if you're a Rockies fan. But you know what? It happens to a rebuilding team like the Rockies. It's normal.
Well, other than a couple of solid individual performances, there's a good way I could sum up this series altogether. One, of course, Feltner, Freeland in games 1 and 3, excellent job on the quality starts. That is Freeland's 3rd consecutive quality start, and all of which have happened since he returned from the IL. So something's up with that guy. He's pitching with bad intentions, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Doyle had 5 hits in this series, including, of course, the home run in the 3-hit game in game 2. And Sam Hilliard, 2 home runs in game 3 to help support Kyle Freeland. Hey, that's good for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's always had pop in that bat, so it's good to see him bring it out now that he's kind of had to play a little more due to the fact that there's a decent amount of injuries, or they just don't have too many guys that I think they would want to give at bats to that are not available. So, hey, Hilliard, shout out to you. Good for you. Glad to see you, Dor. And a quick shout out to everybody. I believe I mentioned this on the podcast. I've been to of the 9 Major League Baseball stadiums I have been to Great American Ballpark. I had to look up the exact date just to kind of, for history's sake. I went to the Saturday game on July 27, 2019. The Rockies lost by a score of 3-1. Here's a little, I remember because I figured here's a little throwback for everybody. The starting pitcher, if you want to know, was Chichi Gonzalez for the Rockies. So there's a little throwback for you on the name, and an old player that we used to have. He was an interesting pitcher overall, but I was surprised that if I remember correctly, he was in 2 serious jams, I think, including a bases loaded jam sometime in the game, but he got out of it and only gave up the 2. He only gave up the 3 runs. And some old names for you. Jairo Diaz also pitched the game with Carlos Estevez and Jake McGee to round out the pitching for that. And of course, that was of course when Charlie Black was still playing the outfielder. You had Story, Dahl, Arenado, Murphy, Desmond, McMahon, Walters, and Gonzalez. Of course, before the universal DH, that was the lineup. So that's a little throwback to what I remember to be a very disappointing season in 2019. But altogether, my synopsis of this series specifically, it just shows to show you where these two teams are ranking. The Rockies were still down there, one of the middling rebuilding teams trying to find its identity. Whereas the Reds, they're stuck in the middle. And the worst part I've always said is to be in sports is the middle. You don't know if you're one of the contenders or one of the elite, or down here you're one of the guys at the bottom, teams at the bottom rebuilding. You're just here. And the Reds are just kind of, knocking on the ceiling, trying to break through the ceiling and break into that contention window. They're middling and they're just trying to take that step to push them forward. So could they be buyers this year? Probably not, but I could see them being buyers next season for sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams in the mix. I mean, it's one of those years. I mean, there might be a team that could get in the wild card that's like right at 500 because we're just seeing like kind of like this year in baseball. We're seeing a lot of. I think this is one of the worst years offensively in Major League Baseball history in a long, long time, like 1960s era, whatever it was. But the Reds they're hanging around. I mean, again, we're coming into a rough stretch coming into this series, but again, like the Rockies, they've really struggled against the Reds over the last several years, especially at Cincinnati. So, but again, Hines, amazing. De La Cruz does his stuff. Tyler Stevenson, very underrated catcher. I feel like he deserves a lot more attention over there. I mean, he's good offensively, but especially in this series, he was just unstoppable. And I think he had like, what was it, 5 home runs in this series alone, which is pretty crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually wins National League Player of the Week for this week if he continues that in the next series. But when you mentioned Chichi Gonzalez, I was gonna say the line from A New Hope. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. So and all my dudes know that we're big Chichi Gonzalez Stan fans. Just kidding, we're not. I don't miss him. Not trying to be mean to Chichi, but it's just 2021, no thank you. I mean, he had some nice starts here and there, kind of like Dakota Hudson. Well, and here's the thing. Well, of course, just today the Rockies came out and said that. Well, I should say Thomas Harding reported that Hudson is back in AAA, which I'm fine with. A good depth piece because he actually had some nice starts this year. Hudson did. It's just that there were a lot of games where either he walked a lot, had to depart the game early, or either he just didn't get enough run support. But he does lead Major League Baseball in losses this year, or at least is tied in that category. But yeah, when you came up with the Chichi Gonzalez, so just that quote from A New Hope just came to my mind.
Yeah.
But
he was not supposed to be a fourth, fifth starter like they had him most of that season. He was supposed to be a 6th, 7th depth piece, and
I want to say Chichi Gonzalez went on to Milwaukee.
He went to Milwaukee, New York, the Yankees. His last time he pitched in the majors was last year with the Miami Marlins. He pitched 3 2/3 innings for them last year.
Yeah. But I wonder where
he's a free agent right now.
Free agent, okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if he's retired, he hasn't said it yet.
I remember he had some good years with Texas.
He did.
Colorado.
He was a top prospect, I think, in their system, I believe.
And actually, if you think about it, him and Dakota Hudson actually kind of remind me of a little bit each other because both Dakota Hudson, they were top pitching prospects from their organizations that they were drafted from. I mean, Dakota Hudson was the number 1 pitching prospect at one point for the Cardinals. He actually was in the running for the Cy Young Award winner in 2019 when he came up through the Cardinals. And then after his Tommy John surgery, he just kind of fell down. Like he just fell off a little bit. I mean, one nice thing for Hudson though, he's one of the best ground ball pitchers in baseball. It's just that I don't know. It's just like I said, like a lot of the starts have been he doesn't get enough run support, or either he just walks too many guys because that's the one thing that Hudson is haunted by. Like if he cuts down the walks, Hudson I think could be a very good pitcher for us. It's just that it's like he's been very inconsistent, and that's something that we don't need. But again, Marquez, he's going to be back. And actually, if you look at the, as we wrap up the show tonight, if you look at the upcoming series against the Mets, I thought that maybe Marquez was going to be pitching tomorrow, but it's going to be Tanner Gordon. He'll get another start from what it looks like as of right now. It looks like he'll get another start, and then the normal rotation goes on. So I'm assuming that Marquez will probably be activated sometime in this series and probably will get his first start once the second half starts. I would debate that maybe they'll have him start against the Giants, maybe the first game back from the All-Star break, but we'll see. I think the Rockies want to keep it slow for Marquez.
If I had to guess, I think he'll start the series finale. That's my guess.
Yeah. I mean, again, it could switch because, again, like right now it doesn't show Marquez as the starter for game 3. But again, it could switch because it's happened before. But Marquez, he's ready. Like, he had his last rehab start in Albuquerque. Not Albuquerque, Hartford, excuse me.
He did pitch.
He did pitch in Albuquerque. Then they put him back in Double-A.
He pitched 2/3 of an inning in Albuquerque.
Right. So, so again, Marquez, he's going to be back in this Mets series regardless. Like, he'll get activated. So we'll see if he pitches in the series finale. But it's going to be good to have him back. Just that you don't want to have him pitch like 6 or 7 innings, in the first game because he still needs to work up at that arm, even though he's been rehabbing for a good month or so.
I think it's also a good idea not to first start him at Coors Field either.
Yeah. I mean, it could be Coors Field, but at the same time, I do agree with you that it very well could be the series finale. Just kind of just because a series finale, it's kind of like the last game of the season, especially for a rebuilding team. It's just like, I mean, the game does matter to a certain extent, but you're ready for the break. It's kind of like, what, let's just go out there, do whatever. The Rockies might have a weird lineup on the series finale against the Mets. I wouldn't be surprised, but yes, that's something to watch. But so series final series of the first half starts tomorrow against the Mets in Queens against a team that had a really rough start. Now they've actually, ever since the Grimace has come on the scene for the Mets have actually turned everything around. It looks like they're still floating, fluctuating right around 500. There's still problems. I mean, they do have some good pitchers in the rotation like Sean Manaea, Quintana, but I feel like, is it the offense? I'm assuming that hasn't really clicked for them this year, and injuries. But I mean, you do have the polar bear Pete Alonso in that lineup. You have Lindor, but I feel like the Mets, a lot of the problems have been with the roster, not necessarily the pitching. But I'm curious to see. I mean, the Rockies. Again, it's super hilarious how the Rockies have actually played better against teams that are above 500 than under. And the Rockies lost the series to the Reds, who are under 500, where the Mets are one game, I believe, above 500. So the odds are good in the Rockies' favor, Tom. I mean, the Rockies, they could win a series against the Mets. Why not? Like, end the first half on a good note. I mean, and if you look at the numbers from last year, like standings wise, the Rockies are about the same as they were last year. So you're looking at another 100, 102, 103 lost, team, which again, I'm completely fine with that. I mean, this is a rebuild, it stinks, but I mean, I'd rather have that than lose 111, 112, 113 like the D-backs did back in 2021.
Or was the 2007 Tigers only won 43 games?
Yeah.
I have to look up the rest. There were some other, I have to go way further back because I think there was only, I can't remember the year, but I think it was pre-World War II. There was, again, number of games was different. There was a 38-win season, but to recent memory, the worst season I can recall was AL Central White Sox was a witness to this. 2007 Tigers was just atrocious. They were just, we always went there kind of thinking there was going to be going to be a win.
Well, it was weird too because and then I think 2003 was also a really historically bad year for Detroit, and then 2 years later they go out and win a World Series in 2005. No, they lost the World Series, right?
Say again?
I'm trying to think. What years was the Tigers in the World Series? Was it 05 or 06? I think it was 06 actually.
No, I'm sorry. I think it was the 2003 Tigers. Hold on.
I think it was 02. Yeah, 07 was. I think they were actually decent. I want to say they were.
No, I'm sorry. 2003 Tigers, 43 and 119. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It was 2006. I believe they made the World Series. Let me check. Hold on.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. 2003. That was I completely forgot there. Let me see. Bear with me for just a moment.
There you go. My mic accidentally got unplugged. There you go. I'm back. So it was 2003, right?
2003, the Tigers finished 43 and 119. Oh, okay. And of course, just for reference, that was before they had Justin Verlander. MX, I'm not sure they had MX. 2006, they lost in the World Series. That was it. Jim Leyland was, of course, the manager. Carlos Guillen was the player with the highest WAR on that team of 6 flat. That's a blast from the past. But yes, it goes to show you, even when you have such a putrid record, you can turn things pretty quickly. I'll give you let me just real quick because I'm kind of curious who was on that roster. Oh yeah, you had Pudge Rodriguez. You had Placido Polanco, Carlos Guillen, Brandon Inge, good old Maglio Ordonez, Curtis Granderson was on that team. Marcus Thames, White Sox current hitting coach. And who are their pitchers? Oh yeah, Jeremy Bonderman, Kenny Rogers, Justin Verlander, and Zach Miner. That's another blast in the past. Anyway, I don't want to get on some history lesson here, but yeah, it does go to show you, even when you have such a horrible record, you can turn things quick if you draft well, develop well, and you put the right mix of players, both in terms of talent and personality. Because let's face it, if you have the right personalities on your team, you have your jokesters, you have your hard asses, you have your just in the middle guys, you can create a World Series, not just a World Series team, but a championship level team. I mean, look at the 2007 Rockies. We can dissect them from top to bottom. The 2005 White Sox, top to bottom. You've got championship quality teams you can build with the right mix of talent and just play personalities overall and coaching staff.
Yeah. Well, anyway, folks, I think that's going to wrap up tonight's Rockies recap. Having a little bit of audio difficulties. All of a sudden, I accidentally. So again, I don't know if you guys noticed, but my mic kind of just like the plug thing got mixed up. So again, having a little audio difficulty. So it's kind of going in and out. But that's going to wrap up tonight's Rockies recap. I really appreciate you guys coming on in and watching tonight's recap episode of the Rockies and Reds series. So again, stay tuned for Sunday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be busy here at Rockies now. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Again, make sure you subscribe to YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, X, and Threads for all the good stuff, all the good content. We got something fun coming up on Monday for the draft. We have our picks, so you're going to have to check those out as well. So everyone have a safe evening. Hope you're doing well. And as always, go Rockies, and hope you enjoy the first half, Rockies fans, because it was a weird ride. Let's just say that, and let's hope that we have a better second ride. But yeah, and actually, again, before we go, we're going to be doing the podcast on Saturday. So again, stay tuned for that because Tom and I will be back here in 2 days to do that as well. So again, folks, have a good night. As always, go Rockies.